This is an after the fact video, but I at least wanted to show you the basic process that I use to fix a leaking transmission cooler line on a 2002 Ford Taurus. It was leaking out of the quick connect fitting that goes into the radiator. The tools that I used on this are a screwdriver. I used that just to loosen up the radiator hoses that I had to remove. This is a very important tool. This is a 3/8 inch quick disconnect tool. You'll also need a pair of hose clamp pliers or some way to remove the hose clamps holding the radiator hose on. A ratchet. I used a 3/8 inch. The key is to have a flexible head on this, because you're going to see there's a air conditioning line that gets in the way, and if you have a flex head, then it's a lot easier to remove this. You'll need a 1-inch socket to remove this quick disconnect fitting. And I used this little extension so that I could give myself a little extra room, a little extra length on that socket. And then also you'll need a 8mm socket to remove the support plate that holds the radiator in place. You'll just need that to get a little extra clearance. You're going to also need, if you use this method, about 2 gallons of new coolant, or you can, if you have a clean container, you can reuse your coolant. And then you'll also need a container to catch some transmission fluid that's going to leak out when you remove this line. So I've already done this. I didn't have anybody to hold the camera, but I'm going to at least show you what I did. The first thing is I removed the lower radiator hose. This goes up to the reservoir tank. And then I also removed this hose clamp from the lower radiator hose, and that's so that I could back that whole hose assembly out, because I needed to get more clearance to the transmission line, which you can see right there, that steel line. That goes into the quick connect fitting that goes into the radiator. So basically, remove your lower radiator hose, let all the coolant drain, and then shove that to the side, and that'll give you enough clearance to come up from underneath and be able to get your socket on. This is that line that I was telling you about that's going to be in the way of just a straight or a straight ratchet. So if you have that flex head ratchet, then you can get that ratchet up in there, flex that head back, or your handle back, and be able to pretty easily work that off. That fitting is going to be pretty tight. There's some Loctite on those that come from the factory, so you're going to have to apply some force to get that off. And then just be very careful when you're putting your new quick connect fitting in there, so that you don't strip that out. So very carefully start it. Make sure you start it by hand. There is enough room once you move that hose aside to get your hand up in there. And then just reassemble everything. When you put that line back in there, make sure it goes in nice and straight and snaps in place, and there should be very little play. No play, preferably. The quick connect fitting that came on this new radiator from the factory had a lot of play in it, and that's what led to this leak, and why I had to end up replacing that. And that's it.